Waiting for the rain to finish before we get on the bikes, heading to Port Augusta. So the rain was still haunting us as we left Ceduna, but checking the radar, we managed to get some pretty good windows between the showers, and most of the day it was dry. So Port Augusta, or just past Port Augusta, was a destination for the day. Across the Highway 1 all the way. I was just amazed how much of the native vegetation had been cleared. There's a small strip along the roads, but wow, thousands of acres without a single tree. Well, this is wheat growing country, and God, these silos are enormous. You don't realise how big they are until you fly a drone around it and just see how they dwarf the little towns that support them. We must be becoming old men, travelling with a thermos to make a cup of tea along the way. But it was really good to have a stop, and gee, the tea and coffee in some of these cafes can be awful. So when you go through the town of Kimba, you're actually halfway between the west coast and the east coast. Quite surprising, you think you're almost on the east coast. And obviously to celebrate there has to be something big, and it's a big cocky, which had had a bit of a facelift since the last sort. So as you head east towards Port Augusta, the farmland tends to give way to this bushland and station country, and the town of Iron Knob. And the little boy in me just loves that name. Not much to film in Port Augusta. Byron just wanted to check out a hotel he'd stayed in, and then we went straight through, heading south down towards Adelaide now. A lot of wind turbines, and the little town of Port Germain was our destination for the night. Great little town. The accommodation was most odd. So if you like old stone buildings and quaint old towns, South Australia certainly is a place to visit. Absolutely wonderful. Unfortunately, just flying through too quickly. Our accommodation was something else. Looked good from the outside. As they say, you get what you don't pay for. And for less than $70, I ended up with a storage room, had a bed, didn't have a window, didn't have any ventilation. So the pattern of our riding tended to be early starts and going slow for the first hour just because of the kangaroos and other wildlife. Once again, it was wintertime on the south coast. Headed off in fine weather, had a little bit of fine weather, but wow, when we got to Adelaide, it bucketed down. Travelling down from just south of Port Augusta towards Adelaide at this time of the morning was absolutely stunning, with this hills and mountain range on the both sides of us. Actually, we seemed to go through a valley, a lot of wind farms, beautiful country town. Byron had this obsession with Snowtown Massacre, and he wanted to stop at the bank and have a look. Not my sort of thing, so I kept on riding. Couple of hours out of Adelaide, we got split up when I stopped, as my tyre pressure monitor was telling me I'd lost a bit of pressure in the front tyre. Byron kept on riding, so I was on my own. A bit of drone footage here showed the beautiful country, and despite being wintertime, the patterns from the harvest last summer are still clear in the paddocks. It absolutely bucketed down as I rode through Adelaide, so no footage until I was on the hills on the other side. Travelling through the hills of Adelaide, I randomly picked a little town to stop at, and it turned out to be the tourist attraction for the Adelaide folks, and it was a Saturday, so stuck in traffic, travelling through this quaint German town. Most odd. Off on a weekend is packed. Suffering trauma from listening to that umpire music all through my break, I headed off for tonight's accommodation. This was a fantastic ride, lovely big gum trees, beautiful farmland, and then the hills gave way to probably the beginning of the Coorong, which was a spectacular flat country with vast horizons. And we had the most incredible accommodation. Once again, we were on a budget, but this was a ripper of a place to stay. Yep, our Airbnb for the night was at an airport. It was a skydiving school. Great stop. We had the whole place to ourselves. Everyone just buggered off in the evening. Absolutely stunning. The Serenity.